And we're live.
All right. Hey everybody. Welcome to the Consider This Movie Show, Episode 1, the Halloween Special. I'm Tim.
And I'm his co-host, Howie. How's everybody doing?
Go home, buddy. I work alone.
You are one jive turkey, man. So for anyone that doesn't know, welcome to our show. This is the Consider This Movie Show, Episode 1, like Tim mentioned earlier. And for anyone who doesn't know what our show is, it's a movie show. We talk about movie news, movie reviews, box office stuff, what's coming out next weekend, what you should see. And every week we have a little theme, and this week's theme, of course, is Halloween. I am a man from the 70s, clearly. To my right here is Mr. Incredible, and you guys at home are the audience. So the first topic on our show every week is the movie news. You want to jump right into it?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. The first bit of movie news this week is from Star Wars. Lucasfilm and Disney just announced that for their Han Solo spin-off movie, they're going to be casting Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian.
Childish Gambino himself.
Childish Gambino himself has worked his way into Star Wars. Tim, how do you feel about that one?
I think it's pretty awesome. Not quite as good as Spider-Man, which is what he was rumored to be originally. But
interesting note, he's actually in the upcoming Spider-Man movie. So I think Disney is double dipping on having him, but you know.
Still not as good as being Spider-Man.
Yeah.
But I'll take it. Being Lando's pretty cool.
Lando's nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually pretty excited for this. Gambino is typically comedic characters, or Gambino. He's typically comedic characters, but in his new show, Atlanta, he plays dramatic pretty well. He can do suave. In his music videos, he's suave. He's charming. I think he'll play a perfect Lando, although I don't know how much of Lando we're going to get in the movie.
Don't know. He could be his best friend, or they could meet for 5 seconds.
They were buddies back in the day, and Lando is where Han got his ship. They lost it in a bet. So it'd be interesting to see what that bet was. But beyond that, I'm really excited for this. And yeah, Disney's been doing this a lot lately, actually. They've been double dipping, like I said, their actors who are in a prior Disney movie. It's part of the Disney family now. He's in there.
Can you give me an example?
Gambino in this and Spider-Man,
Can
of
you
course.
give me another example?
Another example is Tessa Thompson is in Thor, and she's also reading for an upcoming Disney movie for Star Wars again.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Disney likes to reuse their characters, which is great because they got great actors on board.
Yeah.
They've got a great crew. Great. This movie's going to be Phil Lord and Chris Miller making it.
Everything that I've seen Donald Glover in, or heard him in, or laughed at him in, has always been terrific.
Yeah, everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome. I really think Phil and Chris are going to do a pretty good job on this movie. I don't think this movie needs to be made. I don't think we really need a Han Solo prequel. Part of his allure is that we know so little about him, and his life is mysterious, like when he talks about the Kessel Run, or his days as a bounty hunter working with Jabba. But that being said, it's Star Wars. We're excited.
Star Wars.
We're excited to see it. We're going to go see it.
It's going to make a lot of money.
It's going to be a great time.
Disney really needs that money.
Oh, yeah.
So.
They're hurting.
Yeah, they're hurting real bad. That's why they needed to
this.
cast Donald Glover twice.
Yeah.
He'll bring in the big bucks.
Yeah, it was a 2-for-1 deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, Disney is on a roll. We got Rogue One coming up soon, which is going to be great. I'm excited. And I'm excited to see how this plays out. Shall we jump into movie news number 2? And just a quick side note, this is a segment we do every week, is the news. It's pretty much our favorite news topics of each week, the ones we consider noteworthy. This week was a slower news week than most, but we try to do things we like. As our fan base grows, and you guys watching at home, if you guys have any movie suggestions, movie news suggestions, please let us know in the comments. Yeah, anything to add to that?
Everything we find important, we know you will find important, so that's all that matters.
That's the goal, yeah.
No, that's
Hopefully
a fact.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
It's the goal, though. Hopefully you guys do like the movie news we pick, and if we don't, like I said, you can hit us on all the social media channels, which you can follow below in the description. But
Lucky.
So on to movie news number 2, we got superhero. According to The Hollywood Reporter, Tim Miller, the director of the first Deadpool movie, has left work as director on Deadpool 2.
Oh boy.
This is supposed to be due to creative differences between him and Ryan Reynolds. I guess they weren't seeing eye to eye on some things. Possibly Cable, a character in the upcoming movie, but who knows. So yeah, he's out.
It's disappointing. I did really like the dynamic that Ryan Reynolds seemed to have with their director.
Yeah, the two of them seem to be pretty instrumental in getting the movie made.
It just looked like everyone in that movie had so much fun. Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand
Oh,
why
yeah.
you would have discrepancies with the director on that. But at the same time, Deadpool did seem to get a little bit stale toward the end once you were kind of expecting all the gags. So maybe a different director bringing it in a new direction could actually add some life to the franchise. Because
Yeah.
I couldn't see
That's
that.
a great point you bring up
Yeah.
about bringing it in a different direction, because you don't want the same old movie, unfortunately. I thought the first Deadpool was pretty good.
I liked it a lot.
Yeah, like you said, the jokes were good, but then they get stale on several rewatchings, I thought. And the direction was fine, but I am also excited. I'm hoping this isn't another case of just hire a director, a yes man who'll do what you say, and pump the movie
Yeah,
out.
Disney can do that.
Yeah, this is Fox, but it's again the
Oh, okay.
studio environment can bring that kind of.
Yeah.
Because this movie made a ton of money, so you know the guys, the higher ups are gonna
Okay.
try to bring in some yes man and just put their ideas in. But I really hope Ryan Reynolds and the new director can see eye to eye, because Ryan Reynolds was a huge part of making this a success. He's also the producer, so I'm sure he'll have a huge say in the director. But
Oh.
do you have any personal ideas for who you think should direct this?
I do. I was thinking, what movie recently does Deadpool seem most like? And that's Kick-Ass. So Matthew Vaughn, the director of Kick-Ass, X-Men First Class, I think he would do a great job with it. He would bring his own spin to the similar style of very crude action and humor that was in the first Deadpool.
Okay. That's actually an interesting choice. I think Matthew Vaughn would be pretty good. The only problem I have, or I don't really have a problem with it, but the only problem I can see arising is the same problem that happened earlier this week. A lot of fans petitioned to have Quentin Tarantino be the director of Deadpool 2. And the big problem people seem to have with that one was Quentin Tarantino is a guy that likes his creative control and has a very overbearing style that only works for a Quentin Tarantino film. And I think Matthew Vaughn is kind of getting into his own niche of getting his own style, and his style could overtake the movie, potentially. But that is a great
Okay.
choice. A popular choice I've been seeing that I kind of agree with is Kevin Smith. I think he's a guy who knows a lot about the comics. He knows what's funny. His directing is actually pretty good. If you saw Tusk, if he's not writing the thing can be directed pretty well. Tusk especially had some really nice shots. I think he knows his way around a camera enough to make the movie look nice. And I could see him and Ryan Reynolds being eye to eye on a lot of things in the comics. But that would be my pick for that.
I don't know. I don't think Kevin Smith might be too mainstream. I don't know if his style would bring a lot of
Mhm.
viewers that that Fox would want.
Right.
That being said, like you said, if he doesn't write it and he doesn't bring all of his eccentric creativity to this movie, I can see him doing a pretty decent job.
Oh yeah. I think he could do it. And I also think Matthew Vaughn could do it. I think a lot of people could do it. Again,
Yeah.
it comes down to what Ryan Reynolds says, because he was a pretty big part of the first movie, and how the movie's written. Because the movie was carried by a pretty good plot,
Yeah.
great jokes, and just, it was fun. It had a fun tone, and I think that should be priority number one, and then get a director who can facilitate that process.
Yeah, you don't want to have differences kind of overlapping. You don't want to make a director who's going to change everything
Mm-hmm.
and try to take himself, but also not one that's just going to be a yes man from the studio.
Exactly. So, moving on to movie news number 3.
All
This time
right.
we're going to be talking about sausages. Also, we look, I don't know if we look silly or ravishing in these costumes.
I'm going to say a little bit of both.
A little bit of
A
both?
little bit.
Alright, well, speaking of silly, Sausage Party, the Seth Rogen, Evan Goldberg comedy that came out this past August, R-rated movie about talking food in a supermarket.
Animated.
Animated, yep. The Hollywood Reporter reported that this week, Sony has given Seth and Evan complete control over the Academy Awards campaign for Sausage Party. Meaning that Seth and Evan are going to be campaigning this movie for an Academy Award for presumably Best Animated Feature,
What about
Also-
best movie?
possibly Best Original Song, and they could be as presumptuous enough to go for Best Movie. Tom Rothman, the Sony Pictures chair, said about the decision, Academy members are way smarter and more forward-thinking than people realize. They want to recognize bold, original, risky breakthroughs, and that's what Sausage Party is, however subversive. Plus, it's just plain cool. Sausage Party was okay.
I hated it.
I thought it was just okay. I'm kind of glad that they're going for this campaign. We could get some funny material out of it, some funny posters,
Yeah.
and videos. But what the chair said here, that the movie is bold, original, a risky breakthrough, I would say it was original and bold. But the movie was really just cursing food, for the most part.
They just really tried to push the fact that food cursing in your face was funny.
Right.
I don't think that's funny.
It was funny the first time, for the first few minutes, and certain characters and their crude humor worked for me.
Okay.
But overall, I don't think this movie achieved anything earth-shattering, right? This movie was pretty funny for what it was, and yeah, I don't really see these guys getting much success in this category, especially when you consider the animated movies we've had this year that are pretty good, if you want to name a few.
So, I think it's, in past years, I'd say it's been pretty competitive. I don't think it's competitive this year in terms of what's going to win. I think it's Zootopia in a landslide. It is pretty crowded behind Zootopia, but I don't think Zootopia really faces much competition there. I liked Finding Dory. I liked Secret Life of Pets.
Mm-hmm.
I liked Kubo. Moana comes out. That could have potential to beat Zootopia. But I thought all of those other movies I just mentioned were just good. You know, just fun watches, nothing special. I thought Zootopia was really, really well done. Had a great message, was funny, a lot of fun, brilliant animation. So that would certainly be my pick.
So you think Zootopia is going to take it? Well,
I think it'll take it in the
I'm going to
landslide.
disagree with you a bit that it's not competitive. I think Zootopia was great, and that would be my pick for this year's best animated feature. On a technical level, Kubo was groundbreaking, I'd say. It was a masterpiece of claymation. The story, it got carried away a little bit towards the end, or it had some issues, but nothing terrible. Secret Life of Pets I haven't seen, unfortunately. But we also have 2 upcoming movies that could take those slots. We have Moana coming out next month.
The new Hawaiian Disney movie.
Hawaiian Disney movie starring The Rock.
Yeah.
I don't remember the female's name, but Lin-Manuel Miranda is composing the score. And that movie, again, looks gorgeous. I don't know anything else beyond that. But that could be a tough contender. And we also have Sing coming out, which is another movie by the guys that made Secret Life of Pets. And that movie looks okay.
I think Sing looks awesome. I don't know why it just totally left my mind, but I think Sing could have a shot at winning. Yeah, it looks great. I can see it maybe not being so great, but I thought, based on all the previews I've seen in the trailers, I am excited for it. I think it'll be a lot of fun, really enjoyable.
Yeah, from the trailers I've seen, it was it looked like an interesting concept, a singing show with animals, and each animal has a different singing style and tone. It looks kind of generic to me, but we'll see what happens. Also coming out soon is Trolls. I know some people in the press and the critics have seen it early. The reviews are mediocre so far, so I don't think that'll be in contention, but like I said, I don't think Sausage Party even stands a chance next to Kubo, Finding Dory, Zootopia, and did we miss any?
You know, I think Sausage Party might get nominated just for originality. It could certainly get nominated for Best Song for the Great Gods song that they sing in the beginning.
Yeah, that was actually a pretty good song.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But again, that one could be up against songs from Sing, which we just mentioned, depending on if they have any originals. We don't know. Another movie that came out earlier this year, a musical, was Sing Street, which is fantastic. If you haven't seen it, please go rent it.
I haven't seen it, so
he hasn't seen it.
That's my
I'll
job.
get him on that soon.
Yeah.
But that movie had some really good original songs. And Moana, that we mentioned earlier, has music written by Lin-Manuel Miranda, so expect a nomination there.
There's no bigger person at least in America, than Lin-Manuel Miranda right now.
At the moment, especially.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like, he's going to be riding high. I'm sure the score is going to be great. So
what is it, $2,000 for a seat to Hamilton now?
Something like that.
Some insane number. A down payment on a car, essentially, if you want to see it play.
Yeah.
But the guy's good. I like him. And also, we have La La Land coming out.
Ooh.
Closer to Oscar season, I think around Christmas. That's the
Emma Stone,
Emma
Ryan
Stone,
Gosling.
Ryan Gosling movie directed by Damien Chazelle of Whiplash, one of Tim's
Oh,
favorite
yeah.
movies.
Great movie.
So I think that movie will be great, definitely. And the music in that probably stands a chance at getting some Oscar bait. I don't know who wrote the songs in that. I don't know any of the composer information, but
we'll
again,
figure it out,
yeah.
and I'm sure it's a great composer.
I'm sure he's great. And just a quick bit of news I want to drop. We're not going to go too in detail into it, but speaking of great movies, great animated movies especially, Shaun the Sheep, again, if you haven't seen it, please give it a try.
Nope.
Very underrated. Actually, it was rated pretty highly.
I'm just going to watch Chicken Run again.
People, Chicken Run, also a good movie. Please check that one
I'm going to
out.
watch Chicken Run, I'm going to watch Wallace and Gromit 3 more times, and then maybe I'll check out Shaun the Sheep.
A lot of claymation movies, foreshadowing.
All the same studio, I'm pretty sure.
Are you foreshadowing for something later on the show?
Let's find out.
You'll find
Let's
out.
keep moving the show along.
So, Shaun the Sheep, which I highly recommend. Today, Aardman Studios just announced that they're starting production on Shaun the Sheep 2 this January. So I'm very excited. Just a small bit of news I wanted to let out for you guys. A glimmer of hope for original movie making, or great movie making, from Aardman Studios especially. Wallace and Gromit was fantastic.
Yeah.
And now we're going to jump into our weekly box office challenge. So for
All
those
right.
of you who don't know what this is when we talk about this past week's box office. We go down the list and see what movies made money, what movies had gangbusters in the box office, and what movies bombed or did poorly. And then we're also going to go head to head and pick our guesses for the top 5 of the upcoming weekend. And that also brings in talking about movies that are coming out next weekend. So we're going to talk about those a little bit.
Yeah.
So let's jump right into it. This past weekend's box office, we had Boo, A Medea Halloween,
Boo!
Jack Reacher, Never Go Back. Ooh, you scared me.
Yeah.
Ouija, Origin of Evil.
The
and
Accountant.
Keeping Up with the Joneses all opened up this weekend, opened wide. And Moonlight opened in limited release, and that movie has great scores. I think we got to check that one out. So Tim, do you want to go down the list and tell us what movies were in the top 5 and what they made?
Sorry, I got really excited about Accounting. All
It's an
right.
exciting topic. I can't blame it.
Number 5. Emily Blunt stars in The Girl on the Train, which in its 3rd week still made $7 million. Number 4. Ben Affleck in The Accountant, holding strong in its 2nd week with $13.5 million.
Pretty good.
Number 3. The debut of Ouija, Origin of Evil, great scary movie, just beat out The Accountant at $14 million.
Not bad, not bad.
With number 2, we have Jack Reacher, Never Go Back, the Tom Cruise sequel of a lifetime, with $22.8 million.
He came back.
And heading the fort at number 1, boo! A Medea Halloween, with $28.5 million. In its 1st week just in time for Halloween season.
Ugh, that's an insane take. That's a lot of money. And one we didn't mention in the top 5, but that did open up last week. Keeping Up with the Joneses came in at 7th place with barely $5.5 million. Zach Galifianakis has not been having any luck at the
Very
theaters lately.
disappointing. John Hamm, it didn't get good reviews, and the public didn't want to see it.
Yeah, I guess everyone thought it looked as bad as we thought.
Yeah.
But what's interesting from this list is of the movies that released, both Ouija and Boo, A Medea Halloween, both made back their budgets on first weekend, which is nice to see.
Impressive. And
It is
they'll
impressive.
make a lot more this weekend because it's Halloween.
Oh yeah, I think they're gonna get a little boost this weekend from the Halloween take. Do any of these numbers surprise you, Tim?
Boo, A Medea Halloween.
Yeah, that's a lot of money this movie
Especially,
made.
the reviews weren't good.
The reviews weren't good, but these Tyler Perry Medea movies have always been pretty successful. I think Boo is the 2nd highest opening for them, beyond Medea Goes to Jail, which I believe was the first one.
Okay.
So yeah, it did really good numbers, and they typically tend to make double to 2.5 times what they make on opening weekend. So with
That's pretty
with that
good.
being said, this movie could pull around $70 million on a $20 million budget. Not bad.
Yeah, not bad
I
at
was
all.
actually surprised to see a Tom Cruise movie open below a Tyler Perry movie. That's interesting.
Yeah, Tom Cruise is, still popular. I haven't heard too much about Jack Reacher. I know the first one made enough, but wasn't super popular.
Yeah, it was alright.
So,
It was a decent action flick.
but yeah, I'm still a little surprised it didn't go number 1.
Yeah, and Ouija Origin of Evil also didn't do that great. For a horror movie and Halloween, it came in third
Yeah, but
place.
for like an R-rated horror movie, and yeah, I guess the fact that it was Halloween does disappoint you a little bit, but it was an R-rated movie on a low budget with not a whole lot of advertising and it was the sequel to a movie that got very poor reviews and made, just enough to warrant a sequel.
Yeah, it made a good amount of money. And another reason I'm disappointed by that number is because Ouija was pretty damn good.
It was really good.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good. Like Tim said, the first movie got really low scores, but made a lot of money. And the second movie seems to be going the other route. Although, like I mentioned earlier, it's made on a $9 million budget, and it made that back. Probably not when you count, like, for Hollywood accounting, but
Yeah.
from just the numbers we're looking at, that was pretty good.
Advertising, stuff like that. But
And two older movies that are still making money are The Accountant and the Girl on the Train, which, again, also made their money back by now.
Yeah.
This weekend added to their total cume, and they're doing great.
not bad. And Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children in at number 6 with almost 6 million in its 4th week, I believe.
Yeah, it's still holding up.
Still pretty
It's,
good.
It's Tim Burton's season, so I think
Yeah.
it's good that he's got a good hold on October. Although that one was made on a $110 million budget, and it's around 75 million now, and it's what is it? Third week, fourth week?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
its
in
fourth week. It's dying
so
out.
it's dying out. I don't know the worldwide numbers, but that's.
I'm sure worldwide it made its money back. Probably didn't do as well as it had hoped, but
Right. Do you want to talk about Moonlight real quick? This movie opened up in only 4 theaters, but look at that theater average.
100,000 per theater. That's impressive.
So, Moonlight, for those of you who don't know, is a limited release movie about a black man, and it stages 3 important stages in his life: his childhood, his late teens, and his early 20s or early adulthood. And he's a gay black man living in a ghetto community, and this movie has been getting great reviews, so I'm actually not shocked to see $100,000 per theater. We'll release on that soon, and we'll hopefully have a review for that for you guys.
Yeah, hopefully it comes out to theaters near us. We can go see it.
So the second bit of this segment is where Tim and I go head to head, and we talk about our guesses for next week's box office. You're going down, man.
Yeah.
You're going down. So,
Thought we were supposed
the way
to
it
touch
stands
base.
right now is we're both at 0 because it's the first week. But every week we're going to update that scoreboard with our new scores. So before we can guess what next week's top 5 will be, it's probably a good idea if we know what's coming out, right?
Yeah.
So I'll
That's
start us off
important.
on this one. This week we have Tom Cruise's third movie in the Dante's Inferno. Third movie in the Da Vinci Code
Close
trilogy.
enough.
Yeah, it's called Inferno. It's the third movie in the Da Vinci Code trilogy. He's back as whatever character he plays in those movies. I haven't seen him, but the public loves him.
Yeah.
Ron Howard's directing.
Ooh.
Felicity Jones is in this movie, which is like her
Ooh.
second or third movie coming out around this time. One of them being Rogue One.
Ooh.
So yeah, that one's coming out. The current score for that one on Rotten Tomatoes, I think, is hovering around a 30. It's at a 27 right now, so it might not be that great, but people could go out and see it. Like I said, these movies are popular. And we also have 3 documentaries coming out that Tim can tell you about.
Yeah, it's Tom Hanks and 3 pretty interesting documentaries. I'm assuming the most popular one would be Before the Flood. Leonardo DiCaprio goes around the world, interviews famous people like Barack Obama and John Kerry and Bill Clinton, and just talks about climate change, global warming, and what we can do to stop it. Early reviews say that it's generic. It's been done before. It doesn't add anything new except, some celebrities, which is pretty cool, seeing them talk about global warming.
Yeah, like Tim said, it's not adding much new to the conversation for those who do know about this topic, but I do like that Leonardo DiCaprio is bringing this into a more mainstream light, because I think a lot of people will be more inclined to check it out with
Yeah.
Leonardo's stamp on it. But yeah, so far it's hovering around a 69 Rotten Tomatoes, and we'll see how that does. What's next?
Yeah, I think it is important to be aware about, the climate change and the earth and how to protect it. So that's pretty cool to see.
Oh yeah, man, the Earth
Yeah.
is groovy. Yeah, groovy, peace, love.
Yeah.
Dope. So what's next on the list?
Next is Oasis, Supersonic. It's about the 90s band Oasis, who sings the song Wonderwall. They're pretty okay. It's got good reviews. I do like rock band documentaries, behind the music, VH1 type stuff. Some of it's really well done, and it probably won't make that much, but if it's showing around you, maybe if it goes on Netflix at some point, seems worth a while, especially if you were into, 90s rock. The best kind of rock.
Said baby, you're gonna be the... Okay, that's enough of that. So,
Change me.
what's the third documentary on our list this week?
It's another documentary, has even better reviews about, in my opinion, an even better band from the 1970s, Iggy Pop and the Stooges. It's called Gimme Danger. And it's got 100 on Rotten Tomatoes right now. Everybody likes it. Perfect. I would actually really like to go see it if I can, find it in a theater near me somehow. I don't know how wide it's going to be released, but I do really enjoy Iggy Pop and the Stooges, and I'm pretty interested to learn what a movie about them, or a documentary, could be about.
Yeah, it seems right up your alley, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Tim said, it's about Iggy Pop and the Stooges and their cultural revolution from Ann Arbor, Michigan. Or through Ann Arbor, Michigan, and then spreading throughout the world. So Tim said that one's at 100, and I forgot to mention that Oasis Supersonic is at 85 right now on Rotten Tomatoes.
Pretty good.
So all three documentaries seem to be worth your time.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're playing in any major theaters. They definitely don't have wide releases. I do know National Geographic, I believe, is playing the Before the Flood movie either this weekend or the following weekend, just to create some buzz and, again, create some mainstream acknowledgement of this global climate change epidemic.
That's pretty cool.
Alright, so now that we know what's coming out this week...
It's a slow week.
Yeah, it's a slow week this week. Nothing new besides Inferno.
Yeah, not adding... All the Halloween-type season movies came out earlier in the month to try to take advantage, so...
Yeah, they've been slowly snowballing through the
Nothing much this week other than Inferno.
So, Tim, now that we've gone over what's still out and what's coming out, I need you to give me your top 5 movies for this week's box office, starting with number 5. What do you got?
Alright, so I'm going to say number 5. I'd say The Accountant still holds on with about 8 million. Then number 4, I'd go with, logic would tell me that it's going to stay the same order that it was this week, but I'm going to change it up. I'm going to say number 4 will be Jack Reacher. I'm going to say it slows down a little bit, even more with Tom Cruise. I'm going to say a solid 16 million, Jack Reacher. Number 3, I think Ouija Origin of Evil benefits from good reviews and benefits from the Halloween season. So on Halloween weekend, Ouija Origin of Evil will make 17 million. Even more than this week. I think it's going to bounce up. Number 2, last week's number 1, Boo, Madea Halloween. I think it's still going to do really well for the Halloween weekend. And number 1, Inferno. I think the first 2 movies were popular enough, and Inferno, and people really like Tom Hanks.
Oh yeah, who doesn't like Tom Hanks? He's
Tom Hanks is great.
America's dad.
America's Dad.
So our top 5 ended up being exactly the same, so we're going to do tiebreaker in a moment.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree with you that I
Copycat.
think Ouija, unfortunately, I think Ouija is going to edge out Jack Reacher this weekend. It didn't seem like people had much interest in that movie to begin with. And now with the good word of mouth, hopefully, for Ouija, and Boo, Madea Halloween already being a Halloween movie, and Halloween coming up this Monday, I think both of these films are going to benefit from the upcoming holiday, and a lot of people are going to go out this weekend with their kids, with their friends, family, and see those two. But I still think, like you said, that Tom Hanks is he's going to be the winning Tom versus Cruise this weekend.
Yeah.
And get a pretty good numbers for Inferno.
This weekend it'll be a Tom off.
It'll be a Tom off, and I think we both have a pretty good idea who's going to win that one. So since our top 5 ended up being exactly the same, and since we want to see the scoreboard right here tick up on my side, 1 point for me, 0 points for this loser, and we can't have the same top 5 because it'll just end up being a tie, what we're going to do is a tiebreaker. So since we both have Inferno as number 1, What we're going to do is a Price is Right kind of thing, where we have to guess what the opening box office is going to be for Inferno this weekend. Whoever's closest wins. Come on. It's easy. You know
It's
the rules.
real easy.
Tell me what you got.
I'm gonna say Inferno gets $29 million.
$29 million. That's your final guess?
Just above Boo! A Medea Halloween from this past weekend.
You going to lock that one in?
Locking it in.
Lock in your answer, man. You can't change it.
Final answer,
Ah.
Regis.
Unfortunately, I was also going to say 29 million, so we got to... I'm just kidding. So, just some
Don't
quick
fake me out.
data that we knew, but you guys might not know. The first Da Vinci Code movie opened at 77 million, but the second one, Angels and Demons, had a huge drop at 46 million.
Whoa.
That came out during May, so early summer blockbuster season, so that's a pretty
Whoa.
big number. And like Kim said, 29 million is a lot lower than 46, but I'm going to go a little bit higher than you are. I think Tom Hanks can pull in $3 million worth more people. I'm going to go $32 million. I know it's really close. It's a close race.
All right.
But next week when we're on the show, we'll report back and see how badly I kick your ass. That sound good?
So essentially, if this movie makes less than exactly $30,500,000, I win.
Pretty much. And if you guys don't know how Price is Right works, watch it every morning on CBS, I believe.
I don't
at like
know if it's
10?
the same rules as Price is Right.
I don't know.
Because I think if we both went over, then nobody wins.
Alright, scratch the Price is Right rules. You want to just do who's closer?
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, so if you guys don't know how numbers work, you can go to any school 5 days a week,
Yeah.
not counting holidays. Go see a math teacher or a grade school teacher between the grades of 1 through 5 or 6. They should probably know math.
Don't go on Monday.
Everybody
They're all
should know
doing their
math
Halloween
besides you.
parties. They're all gonna be on candy.
Oh yeah, Halloween, you should go trick-or-treating.
Yeah.
See how numbers work, and we'll be back with you next week and see who won that one.
But we're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere because it's time for the next segment of our show, which I'll explain real quick. It's called the Movie Grab Bag. So what the Movie Grab Bag is, oh yeah, high five that.
Boom!
So what the Movie Grab Bag is earlier this summer, there is a video store, I know, they're ancient, closing, of course, near us, and Tim and I ended up going in and
There's a
walking
movie.
out
There's a movie. There's a
Oh,
movie.
yeah,
There's
there's
6 movies.
all over the place. on
There's
clearance.
20.
And we walked out with how many movies, Tim?
Enough to save $1,500.
Enough to save $1,500. We
It's
came
about
out with
150 movies.
around 150 movies for like 20 something bucks.
I don't
And
think
they're
it was that
random.
much.
They go from movies you've never heard of to some classics. And every week we're gonna pick a random movie from this grab bag. We're gonna review it, and we're gonna give it away to you, the viewer at home. I don't think you'll really want it, but it's fun. You get a used copy of a DVD that you could watch. You can watch our review first, see what we thought of it. But since today is a holiday, and today's a special day, we picked another movie to review. It's a recent Halloween movie. And what this movie's called is... Pull it out of the box here. Tim, can you do the honors?
Oh, I can't drum roll and do it at the same time. We've got. Oh my god, what is it? I can't even tell. It's Paranorman.
We hold that up to the camera. Paranorman, guys. This movie came out in 2012, and we're going to review it this week. Like we said, each week we want to give you the viewer, a chance to win at home. So, we're going to give you the rules on how to win this copy. Or not this copy exactly, but we're giving away a digital copy of Paranorman. If you want to be entered to win, all you got to do is hit the like button, hit subscribe,
Proof. The disc is in there. We're
And-
not just giving you a cool box.
leave a comment in the description or leave a comment down below about anything. It could be about how we did tonight, how poorly we did, how great we did.
What you like, what you don't
Hopefully
like,
closer to the middle, higher end of that.
how terrible you think our box office predictions are.
It could be any comment, as long as you like the video and you subscribe. We'll hit you up sometime later this week,
Yeah.
and you can win your own digital copy for Flickster or Voodoo or iTunes or whatever you want to use it for of Paranorman. That being said, Tim, do you want to jump into our Paranorman review?
Yes, I do.
First, you want to give them a synopsis, or
Paranorman is about a kid named Norman. Norman Babcock is a kid who has the ability to talk to the dead, but nobody believes him. Not his sister, not his parents, not his best friend, at first, and his family and classmates all think he's delusional. That is, until they find out that their town of Blythe Hollow, Massachusetts, is plagued by a witch's curse, and the dead come back to life. Ooh.
Oh yeah, the zombies come from their graves. So like Tim was saying, this isn't The Sixth Sense, but Norman does see dead people.
Yeah.
He's also not played by Haley Joel Osment.
Yeah.
So he sees dead people, nobody believes him, the zombies start appearing, everybody wants to be his friend. They're like, Norman, what the heck happened?
Yeah.
Please fix this problem. So we end up
Well,
seeing
they
this
hate him
movie.
at first,
They
but
still hate him a little bit,
Yeah.
but you know, he saves the day. Spoilers, but come on. Every movie has a hero winning, unless we're talking about some.
a kid's movie.
A kid's
You're
movie,
gonna-
correct.
It's gonna happen. You don't know how it happens.
So we
When.
saw this movie this week. The movie came out 4 years ago. I had seen it once before, and I enjoyed it. But we saw it again this week with fresh eyes and fresher eyes. Tim, what did you end up thinking of Paranormal?
Well, it's an animated claymation movie. It has a pretty good cast. It has John Goodman's in it for a little while. Yeah, it's really good. I liked it. The animation style is pretty cool. It's very unique. Everything kind of accentuates everyone's special features.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone has a big butt, their butt will be really big. If somebody has a big nose, it'll be really big.
If they have a
Somebody
big
has
gut, it really
big
sticks
gut,
out.
yeah. Like if you have small cheeks, like you don't really have any. It's kind of like that, and it was cool. The kid was in love with Halloween and the dead and just macabre themes, and it was really cool.
Yeah, like Tim said, the character design especially. On a technical level, this movie is astounding.
It's
It's
pretty
made by the
nice.
same guys who made Kubo and the Two Strings earlier this year.
You can tell.
It's Leica Studios. They also have under their belt Coraline and the Box Trolls. Of the 4 movies, I think this one is their strongest. Story-wise, character-wise, they got the humor right. But moving into it, like I said, it's technically astounding. The way they make these films, every single frame, every single item in the screen, every single character emotion, it's done by hand. I will give them that there's a bit of CGI here and there, but that's just for the things that are impossible to do by hand, like a ghostly aura.
I don't care how much money you're making. I have no idea how these people have the patience and
yeah.
the technical knowledge and the artistry to just sit down and every frame have to move a character in a particular way. And I'm sure it doesn't always work out the first time. So they just have to sit there and meticulously move it and then take a picture and keep doing it over and over.
All right, man. This is a very technically time-consuming job that requires a lot of patience.
And it's really pretty. Like a lot of the colors, it uses kind of a very fall and dark color palette, like greens, browns, purple, orange, black, and it really works out in its favor, I think. It makes it feel pretty creepy while also being really approachable.
Oh yeah, man. It's a creepy movie. It's PG, but they get away with a lot.
It's definitely a
kid's
kid's movie,
Yeah.
but honestly what stuck out in my mind. Like the animation's cool and everything, but the fact that I could laugh kind of throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, you need a good story to really. I mean, you can get as technically gorgeous as you want with a movie, but if you don't have a good story and fun characters and a fun plot, or it doesn't have to be fun, but a good plot, then the movie's not getting anywhere. And I would say that this movie has all those things. The whole movie is the cloud of theme that's hovering over this movie is, I'd say, bullying. Norman deals with a lot of bullying.
Yeah.
And the main villain of this movie, we won't get too much into it, but she deals with a lot of bullying. And it's a good theme to go over.
Main
The,
villain is actually played by well, actually no, the main bully is played by Christopher Mintz-Plasse, aka McLovin.
McLovin is playing the bully in this one, which is
Yeah.
pretty funny that he's
Yeah.
a bully. But Norman and the bully become friends fairly early on in the movie. Not a huge spoiler.
Yeah.
And I think
A
the
little
bullying
disappointing.
theme is great for kids to like learn and understand. But it did create things I didn't
Yeah.
like about the movie is the last third of the movie, especially the climax, the bullying theme kind of takes over the action thrill ride that you had up to that point.
Yeah.
The movie kind of grinds to a halt and really nails this bullying theme home to you, and it like pounds it in, man. It slowed the movie down for me. It was a
Mhm.
pacing issue, I thought. It wasn't a bad ending. I still
No.
enjoyed the message, but it didn't really fit with the rest of the movie, which is a very fast-paced, fun thrill ride. Like I said, you're dealing with zombies. You got kids who can see dead people. You got bullies who are becoming friends. You have a gay guy in this movie, which is pretty forward-thinking and progressive for
Yeah.
a modern
Don't
kids
tell
movie.
them who.
Yeah, we're not gonna tell you who it was, but that's actually pretty cool.
But yeah, that was pretty
Yeah, the movie
interesting.
had a lot of comedy. The voice actors were great. John Goodman, Anna Kendrick.
Yeah.
The main kid, I forget his name, but he played Nightcrawler in the most recent X-Men movie. I think it was Cody Smith McPhee.
Yeah, and Jeff Garland.
Jeff
was in it.
Garland plays
That's
the
what I was
dad.
trying to think of before.
Yeah, like the cast is great. The movie is really funny. There's jokes that kids will enjoy. There's some jokes that adults will get latched onto. It's pretty funny.
It's like one of those movies that, back when it came out, adults would have to take their kids to the theater to go see it, like for Halloween. Now it's just one of those where a kid has it, Mom, watch Paranorman with me, and where the mom isn't expecting it to be really good and comes out, probably
It comes out
satisfying.
being pretty great. Yeah.
Yeah. Probably something that they'd enjoy. So now, what else did you not like about it?
So the movie was quirky. I thought the soundtrack was a little bit too quirky. I would have enjoyed a more horror soundtrack or something that
was
fit the
interesting.
80s
It was
synth
very
vibe. Yeah,
synthy.
it wasn't bad, but I would have liked some more synth and less Wes Anderson.
Yeah, like
Some
very
banjo.
upbeat, like
Yeah. Something more exciting, but that's not a huge complaint. Like I said, my
Yeah.
only major complaint is that climax and third act. But overall, I'd say I enjoy the movie. Are you ready to give it a score?
No, because
Not
I'm
yet?
going to say
You
what
have more
I didn't
comments?
like about it.
Alright.
Overall, it was definitely good. I already discussed the things I liked. Some things, it felt... There are a lot of things in it that didn't seem to fit, especially like in the middle or even toward the end. It seemed like off pace in some cases, a little bit off track. I didn't particularly love the middle of it, the story. It got a little boring and just didn't seem to... It kind of made sense in the world, but it didn't seem important. After they just, like with monsters and everything, they make it seem so big and then seem so small at the same time. And when it drops that it's not that important, nothing really feels too important anymore.
You kind of lose your sense of grandeur
Yeah.
scale towards the end. A big problem that could have been a fun problem to solve and see solved visually on screen, kind of, like I said earlier, ended up being just an issue of bullying, which it's not a
Yeah.
small problem, but it just halted the movie for me.
It's
Overall.
more, I think the script was executed really well, it's just, I think the script itself could have been better.
I see where you're coming from on that.
Yeah.
And on that note, I guess I'll start off with the scores this time.
Okay?
We're just scoring out of 10 on a regular scale. The
Out of
way
10,
I
one decimal place.
often end up scoring movies, I often end up scoring movies based more on how much I enjoyed them
Yeah.
out of 10 rather than a technical breakdown, but I'm going to try to get a more of a score that reflects the quality of the movie. Like I said earlier, technically the movie has no flaws. Every frame is just visually jam-packed with Easter eggs and fun things to look at, and it's colorful, and all the characters look great. So nothing visually wrong. The story I had almost no problems with, minus like the last 15-20 minutes. Out of a 100-minute film, that's like 80%, right?
Yeah.
So based on just that alone, I think I'm going to end up giving it an 8 out of 10. I still think it's a great film. One of the better Halloween films, especially recently. You should definitely check it out. It has its minor problems, not even just at the end, but some pacing issues, kind of in the middle, like just little moments where maybe the scene didn't need to be there, or they could have livened it up a bit. But overall, great movie, 8 out of 10. Tim?
I generally score a lot of movies between maybe a 7.5 and an 8.5, just because the first time seeing them, I do enjoy a lot of movies, watching them, the experience. And with this one, there's a lot of things, or a few things that brought it down, like a relatively weak story. It wasn't bad, certainly, but I can't get out of my head how cool some of the animations and just scary themes are, and all of the detail that they put into this movie, and how much I laughed during it. So I'm going to give it an 8.2 out of 10.
8.2, bringing in that decimal place, man.
Yeah.
So yeah, pretty close scores, like
Yeah.
we said. 8.2 averages out to an 8.1. Movie's definitely worth your time, and if you want to win your own digital copy, again, be sure to like, leave a comment down below, and subscribe to our channel, and we'll get in contact with you on YouTube or whatever channel we end up getting in contact
Our
with.
channel is just named Consider.
Our channel is called Consider. In the description, we have links to our social media and such.
Twitter, Instagram,
all that good
fun
stuff. Yeah. And yeah,
Good and fun.
maybe you'll win if you're lucky. You might win because, like, this is our first episode. We probably have
Right now, you
total
probably
viewers.
have a 10% chance of winning.
Yeah. So don't
You right there.
forget to comment. You have a really good chance. You're gonna win this movie.
I have faith in you.
I have
Go
faith
for
in
it.
you too. I think
Like,
you're being
subscribe, comment, show your friends. But maybe tell them in like a week so you can win. But tell them.
lucky. Tell them to watch our channel, man. We need all the help we can get.
Yeah.
Don't be a jack turkey.
Yeah.
All
Don't be Syndrome. Don't be something Bob Parr and Mr. Incredible wouldn't like.
Mm-hmm. So now that we got the review out of the way, the end of our show every week is the wild card portion.
Wild card.
Wild card. And what that means
I told you to get a deck of cards.
Ah, gosh. I'm sorry. Please don't follow me. I have a wife and kids.
We don't even need a deck. You just need one card.
We're on a tight
Wild card.
shoestring budget here, man.
Tight schedule.
Wild card is, like the name suggests, it's a wild card. It could be anything. Some weeks we hope to get some guests. We can do interviews. Most weeks we're going to have a theme. We could do games from week to week, especially if we have more co-hosts. So this week's wild card topic, as the episode suggests, is Halloween movies and scary movies in general. To start it off, when we say Halloween movies, we're typically talking about movies set in or around Halloween or the idea of Halloween. So some
And when
being,
we say scary movies, we mean movies that make you jump out your pants.
oh yeah, like
Ouija, Origin of Evil.
Ouija, Origin of Evil, or a movie that scared me when I was a kid, Jaws. Pretty freaky.
Jaws. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't have to be like a slasher type movie. There are a lot of movies that can just, creep you out and aren't considered naturally horror movies.
Right. So let's jump first into Halloween movies, and then we can get into horror movies in general. Do you have a favorite Halloween movie? Do you care about Halloween movies? Do you pay
I don't
attention
really
to them?
distinguish too much between, Halloween
like the
and
distinction?
scary. It's not that I don't like it, it's just I don't really see it out there too much.
Okay.
Like a cool Halloween movie would be like Nightmare Before Christmas, right?
Right.
But I haven't seen that, so that would be like a cool one that I would
Or
think of.
the Halloween movies, even.
Yeah, the Halloween movies again. Haven't seen. There's a lot of scary movies. I was a sheltered kid. I didn't watch a whole lot of scary movies. I love them, but there's just too many to catch up on in such a short season.
Well, like we mentioned earlier, Paranorman is actually really great. It's got to be up there in one of my favorite horror, scary Halloween type movies. E.T. takes place somewhat around Halloween. Great movie.
Yeah.
But my favorite Halloween movie is one you just mentioned, like about a minute ago. Nightmare Before Christmas. It might be an overrated pick, but I actually think it's a great movie. Another claymation one. Tim Burton produced, I believe, and Henry Selick, I hope is his name, he directed. And
I thought Tim Burton directed.
Yeah, a lot of people do, but they call it Tim Burton's Nightmare
Yeah,
Before
that's
Christmas
true.
for marketing purposes, and he was a big pushing force behind it. But the animation style, I'm very partial to claymation. I really like the story in that one. Jack Skellington's kind of a cool character, but one of the main reasons I absolutely adore that movie, especially around this time of year, is Danny Elfman's score. I think the musical compositions in that movie are great. All the just music-only songs that you hear.
This is Halloween.
And yeah, the vocal tracks are great. This is Halloween. I really like. All the songs in that movie are just fantastic, and it always puts me in a nice Halloween mood.
Yeah.
The movie's not perfect, but when the Halloween season rolls around, it's definitely number one on my list of movies to check out around Halloween. Do you have any favorite Halloween movies? And if not, we can jump right into some of your favorite horror, scary movies.
I guess I'm trying to think. I guess Halloween is Cabin in the Woods a Halloween movie.
I wouldn't count it, but is that a movie?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's hard to put it in a category because I feel like most are really scary, and I haven't really seen a whole lot. I guess
That's true. They don't
I
need
would
to be
say
scary.
Scream 4, I think, was based in Halloween. They had like a Halloween party.
Okay.
I did like Scream 4.
I haven't seen that one.
It was
Hocus
good.
Pocus, have you seen?
I have not.
That's a very popular one.
Yeah,
this
I've
time
heard
of
it's
year.
really good.
I like Hocus Pocus. If you want to jump right into Halloween movies, or
Yeah.
just horror movies, scary movies, a Halloween movie could also have a Halloween type vibe. Like Beetlejuice would be a great example
Okay.
of that one.
Like,
Have you seen
maybe
Beetlejuice?
like Rocky Horror Picture
Rocky
Show.
Horror Picture Show, yeah. Movies that play in season, we
Like,
can count those.
Little Shop of Horrors.
Little
you
Shop
get
of
those two
Horrors, that's a good
confused.
one.
Little Shop of Horrors is actually really good. That one was fun.
Another recent one I just saw that I guess would count around this time of year is Frankenweenie, a Tim Burton movie again.
Okay.
I don't know if that one was claymation or CG, but that was
Yeah.
actually a really good movie. It's kind of it's a risky movie too. It's a black and white movie for kids that came out several years ago. They really touted the 3D on that one, and it's based off. I believe it's based off a short film Tim Burton made when he was
Whoa.
younger. Yeah, so that's a good one you guys should check out. And another one I like from the 80s, it's really The Monster Squad, which Shane Black, I think, had a part in writing. It's a group of kids, probably middle school age, have to team up because Frankenstein, the Mummy, Dracula, and maybe a fourth monster. I can't remember at the top of my head. They all come back from the dead, and they're wreaking havoc on this town, and these kids have to figure out a way to put them back where they came. But that being said, let's jump into some of our favorite horror movies, or some we've seen recently. Ouija being one of them, which I
Ouija.
know you were a major fan of.
Yeah. Review should be up soon for that. That was it was really good. I enjoyed it. It was pretty scary, but it was more just, I thought, just really creepy, just left me on the edge of my seat. Just, if you're looking for a good movie to see, like in the movies this weekend, go on a nice Halloween date, something like that, I'd highly suggest Ouija, Origin of Evil.
Yeah, make that top priority number one. If you want to go see anything at theaters, Ouija. Granted, we haven't seen Boot.
Yeah, that's true. We can't judge.
But I'm going to take a wild guess and say it's probably
At least scarier.
eh.
I would say Medea might do a good job of scaring you, but
Oh yeah, she's a scary woman.
it would be
She
it would
knows
be
what
tough
she
to
wants.
beat Ouija.
Yeah, she knows what she wants, man.
Yeah.
She'll whoop you 10 times over.
Actually, yeah, if she was my grandma, I would be scared.
So some of the major horror franchises we can get into are, there's a good amount, I think. There's the Nightmare on Elm Street series, which I've seen one random sequel in there, and I enjoyed it. And I've seen the remake that came out a couple years ago. It was fine. There's the Halloween series,
Yeah.
which is probably pretty popular this time of year. Friday the 13th, which I also have seen a random one in there somewhere. It was fine.
Yeah, I saw the remake of Friday the 13th that came out in 2009, I want to say. Yeah, it was okay.
We're not really experts on these series. Another
No.
one is the Child's Play series with the Chucky doll.
Child's Play, first half, actually had me pretty scared. I'm usually pretty scared of dolls, so I was excited to see this. And the second half was an 80s action comedy.
Yeah, it's a pretty...
Like, it built up a lot of tension in the beginning and just totally threw it away.
It's a laughable movie, I'd say.
Yeah, it was
It's not
funny,
very scary.
very cheesy, and honestly had more action and comedy than any true horror at all.
Yeah, do you think that holds up better as a modern scary doll movie or the newer Chucky take, the Annabelle series, or the Annabelle character?
Annabelle terrifies me.
Annabelle creeps
If-
you out, right?
If we had to pick a favorite horror movie franchise, I would pick, if you could combine The Conjuring and the Annabelle together, because they're sort of stemming off the same
it's a
thing.
spin-off, yeah.
That's what I would pick. I thought Conjuring 1 might be my favorite scary movie of all time.
Mhm.
I thought Conjuring 2 was really good,
Mhm.
really scary, a lot of fun, and I thought Annabelle was possibly the scariest pure movie I've ever seen. A lot of people disagree, but maybe it's because of my fear of dolls, but it really scared me. I had a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, man. Annabelle didn't really do it for me, but
Yeah.
Conjuring 1 and 2 I thought were pretty great horror movies, especially as far as this year goes. Conjuring, this year we had a lot of great horror.
Yeah.
Conjuring 2, Ouija Origin of Evil, and I want to bring up The Witch, which came out this year. That movie was it's slow. It's
Yeah,
a slow burn type
definitely
movie,
slow.
but it's definitely creepy. You get a creepy
It's
vibe,
really
it's a malicious
good.
vibe throughout the whole movie. That's another one I'd suggest you guys check out.
Interesting to see what happens. Yeah, again, if you're on, it was on like Amazon Prime, I want to say.
Yeah, you guys can check that out on
Yeah.
Amazon Prime right now.
So if you're looking
some
for a
stuff.
movie to stay in, you don't
Come on,
want to
come
go
on.
out and spend money, go see The Witch.
Yeah.
It was really, really creepy.
And so I'm glad you brought up The Conjuring because I want to bring up the franchises we named earlier were some of the older 70s, 80s, 90s horror franchises, but now we've got a few of our own. The millennials have their own horror franchises. We have the Conjuring series that you mentioned.
Awesome.
Kind of going hand in hand with that because a lot of the same producers and directors are involved. The Insidious series, which you've seen. Are you a fan of those?
I liked the first one. I thought it was really scary. It was well done. Second one was okay.
Mhm.
It was pretty similar to the first one. And I've heard the third one wasn't so great, so I haven't seen it. But I did like the first one.
Okay, that's good to hear. So I should check out the first two at least.
Definitely the first one. Second one, maybe.
Okay. Another modern horror franchise we have that's over for now, before they decide to make a
Yeah.
8th one or 9th one, whatever it is the Saw series, which, as far as quality goes, if this was a perfect movie, from the first movie to the last movie, that's about the,
I think
The
the
line you
first
see on the
Saw is really, really well done. I think the second one changes it up enough to still be good. Like, I really liked it. And I heard the third through the seventh were all the same movie, just done more poorly, so I haven't bothered to watch them. But I loved the first one, and I liked the second one.
I like number one. I'll agree with you on that one.
Yeah.
I didn't love it, but I like it. The second one, I liked a little bit less.
Yeah.
But it brought a new story.
Yeah, exactly.
The third one was bad,
Okay.
and that prompted me to not watch 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah,
however many.
at least seeing the scores, they get a little bit better after the third one, but, they're not amazing.
They're probably okay to watch if you're into
Yeah.
that. If you're into a gory type of horror movie, Saw is right up your alley. Another recent horror franchise is the Paranormal Activity movies. I think there's 5, maybe 6 of those now.
At least.
Yeah, at
They come
least.
out pretty much every year now. Nobody hears about them. They get low budgets.
And that's one where the first time around I really enjoyed Paranormal Activity.
I thought it was really original, creepy, well done. One of my favorite scary movie moments is watching that with my dad just hanging out.
Who got more scared, you or the pops?
I know he gets scared. He doesn't show it, but I know he gets scared. I show it, so it was probably me.
Probably you.
But
Okay.
I didn't think it was too scary. It was just...
It was
It's
another
good.
movie that kind of had you on the edge of your seat, even though
Yeah.
it didn't have much to offer. But I had a good time watching the first
It was
one.
a little slow, but the build-up makes it worth it.
The second one was okay, I thought, but the third one I really, really thought was scary. That one,
Yeah, I
had,
thought the third one was really
especially
scary.
during the third act. It's one of those
Yeah, the end of
horror
that one's
sequels
really good.
that I'm not gonna say better than the original, but that
I
can
think
almost
it was
match
scarier
it.
than the original.
You think it was scary? It was definitely scarier.
Yeah.
But as a
As a
whole
full
film, I didn't
movie-
have as much of a great experience
Probably
as the
not.
first one.
Yeah.
Ouija would be another one that's obviously better than the sequel,
Yeah.
which isn't a hard task. But
Yeah.
there are some of the horror movies that can bring it back around and give you some quality, time and time again. Another recent horror franchise that I guess is turning into a franchise now is the Blair Witch movies. We had 2 originally, and they brought back a more recent one now, and I think there's talks for a 4th one.
I heard they're okay.
I saw the first one. Again, like Paranormal Activity, it's a found footage horror movie. I thought it was a fun experience first time around. Didn't really care for a second viewing, and don't really care about the new one. So that being said, do you have a favorite of any of these horror franchises? Ones you like to see more sequels made? Ones you can go back and rewatch? Beyond The Conjuring, which
Conjuring,
we know.
definitely. Any other ones? I just really want to see some more.
Mhm.
I don't really have an inkling to see them make any more other than the Conjuring series. Maybe Ouija, Origin of Evil. If it's like the same studio and the same people controlling it, I'd see another
Yeah,
one.
if Ouija can continue around the same quality that this new one had, I'd be cool with that. And Conjuring, we're getting a second Annabelle movie, which is directed by David F. Sandberg, who just made Lights Out recently, which I thought was okay, but a lot of people love.
Yeah, it was.
So Annabelle 2 could have a shot at taking over your number 1 spot from Annabelle. That's exciting. And of these movies, one that I'd like to see more of or seen done better is I'd actually really like another Saw movie and just see what they can do with a good quality director and some good writers and some good actors. I want to be scared. I want to see them
Yeah.
scare me again and not just have it be a gore fest. Because I will admit, when the first Saws came out, I did enjoy them a lot. Although on an older viewing, I didn't really care for them much. But I wouldn't mind seeing one more Saw movie that really brings it back home.
I'd be okay if they never make a Saw movie again. I think for it to be different enough to be considered like more original and better, it would need to be just a different franchise altogether. I'd like to see a high budget, maybe more sci-fi scary movie, but I don't think they're going to make a horror with a high budget.
Yeah, that's an interesting point. Movie could be a great watch, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. So that appears to be all the time we have for you guys today.
Sorry, boys.
Time just flew by.
Yeah.
You're Mr. Incredible. Can
And
you stop
sorry,
time
ladies and
with those
gentlemen.
powers? What kind of powers? are they?
Not quite, but I could punch through the wall. You wanna do that?
Maybe after the show goes off air.
Okay. Don't
we
let me
want to
embarrass
give
us.
them some goodbye messages. Thank you guys for tuning in, however
Yeah,
many of you there are.
Thanks a lot.
We appreciate you
Really
guys
appreciate
coming out and helping us. Hopefully we can grow. Hopefully you guys have some comments for us that'll take us to new heights. This is the first episode. We're evolving.
Yeah.
Right now we're in my bedroom. We're typically supposed to be in our kitchen, but some construction might be happening in there, and we couldn't film there. We have a little bit of a nicer set. Pretty soon we'll be in there.
Yeah.
We're still figuring out how to use these on-screen graphics. That was kind of fancy, but
No, we're just limiting ourselves on purpose.
we're kind of messing around in there a little bit. But that's how you figure things out. You know, you poke around, you see what you can get.
We just don't want to overwhelm you with the most extravagant setup right now.
And overwhelm ourselves either, because it's tough. I admire anyone who does TV production for a living. And if either of us are looking down throughout the show, it's because we have some notes, and we're
No, we
also
don't.
producing our show ourselves, which wasn't that hard. I thought it'd be harder, but it wasn't that bad. So yeah, we're out of time. We thank you guys again. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah.
We have our social media links in the description. Follow us there for updates and news on what's going on in our happenings.
You're watching the Consider This Movie Show.
I'm Howier,
I'm Tim.
and we hope you have a great night, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Again, follow our social media for updates on when our show will be.
Next week, the superhero episode
Oh yeah,
from
we'll
Consider
see-
Productions.
Next week we're going to have Marvel Talk as our theme, and Doctor Strange live review.
Woo!
Be there. Thanks again, guys.
Thanks a lot.